So StripeHype.com, when I posted this article today by, as always, Lee, who went ahead and posted this. 4 players Bengals could have drafted instead of Jonah Williams. Now, keep in mind, again, at the end of the day, you never know what's going to happen in the NFL draft, right? You can look back and say, well, Tavon Austin was taken before so many great receivers. I mean, you go down the list of all these players. Sammy Watkins was the 7th overall pick, and the Bills traded up to get him when they could have gotten so many other great players. So at the end of the day, you kind of can't say, okay, well, this guy, we should have taken over this guy. But at the end of the day, you can look back and say, okay, these are 4 players that Cincinnati could have taken, and they might be in a little bit different of a spot if they did take these said players. Now, this video is not me hating on Jonah Williams at all. Jonah Williams last season did not play good because of injury. Other than that, his first 3 seasons, he was either average or above average. He's not that bad of a left tackle. A lot of people give him a lot more hate than he really deserves. And I know on this channel I've not been the most positive about him, but it's really because of the fact that he's about to be traded. He's about to be gone. But because Cincinnati wants either a 2nd or 3rd round pick for him, and other teams value him at a 5th or 6th round pick, he most likely won't be gone. He'll probably be the starting right tackle for the Cincinnati Bengals week 1 of next season. So with that being said, let's take a look at 4 players they could have taken instead of him. Jonah Williams was taken with the 11th overall pick. So who are some players they could have taken? Well, number 1 is Chris Livingston, who was drafted 3 picks after our man Jonah Williams with the 14th overall pick by the Atlanta Falcons. Actually, let me bring up the right guy here. He is, of course, an offensive lineman, so very same position as, position group as Jonah Williams, except he played guard. So he played right guard for 2 seasons, and then was kind of a universal left guard, right guard for the last 2 seasons with the Atlanta Falcons. Rookie year, he did start 5 games. Played 5 games overall, and then he played 16, 17, 17. So, really, honestly, exactly what you want, a premier guard in the NFL, right? He's a guy who's an absolute monster in the NFL, and it does suck to look back and be like, wow, looking at the situation now, obviously Kappa coming back from injury, he'll be fine, right? Volson is fine at left guard, but you didn't have to go out there and get someone like Kappa. You could have had a solidified right guard for the last 4 years at that position and not had to worry about going out and paying big money. Sorry. Big money for a guard. So, it is what it is. Again, like I said, at the end of the day, I think Kappa is going to work out very well for Cincinnati, and I think he'll be a really good player in the end once he does come back from injury. Second guy, Brian Burns, who was taken at the 16th overall pick by the Carolina Panthers. Brian Burns is an edge rusher, and he has been an absolutely phenomenal edge rusher over the last 4 seasons for the Carolina Panthers. He has been an absolute monster of a player. He started at right outside linebacker, then went to left DN, right DN, and then overall DN. And he has been everything you want in a cup of tea. Rookie year, he had 7.5 sacks, 16 quarterback hits. Second year, he had 9 sacks, 21 quarterback hits. Third year, 9 sacks, 18 quarterback hits. And then finally, his last year with Carolina, 12.5 sacks and, of course, 22 quarterback hits. This man has been nothing else but a monster. And look at last season where, Cincinnati's biggest issue was that they couldn't get after the quarterback. They couldn't chase down the quarterback. They couldn't put pressure on the quarterback. This type of player like Brian Burns would have completely flipped that narrative on top of its head, and we would have seen, a lot more quarterbacks on the butt against Cincinnati if they had someone like Brian Burns in this situation. Next two, Dexter Lawrence, 17th overall pick. Dexter Lawrence currently is a New York Giant. He was, of course, the 17th overall pick in the 2019 NFL Draft. And since he's been drafted, he has been a pretty bona fide, amazing starting player for that said team. He had a total of 2.5 sacks his rookie season. He has been more or less every single game asked of him he has played. He did not start every single game in 2021, but he started every single game for the most part elsewise. He had 2.5 sacks, 4 sacks, 2.5, and then 7.5. And then quarterback hits, very amazing his last year with the Giants, as he had 28 quarterback hits and 7.5 sacks. So he's been a very amazing. I keep saying, okay, I think I gotta stop saying very amazing, because there's certain words I gotta stop saying in videos. It's outlandish and amazing. I see you guys' comments down below. Okay, I see it. No, he's been a monster. He's honestly been a monster for the New York Giants, and would be another guy who could have ramped up this edge rush game and lose defense to even, perfect them even farther. Next guy we have here is Jeffrey Simmons. Jeffrey Simmons is, of course, another defensive lineman for the Tennessee Titans. He was the, of course, 19th overall pick in the 2019 draft. And again, another really solid edge rusher who can get after the quarterback every single play. So what we see here is just like 3 amazing stud pass rushers, after we see Jonah Williams got drafted. Only one really good offensive lineman, which is actually interesting because, again, keep in mind, yes, obviously the Bengals would love to, take a star defensive pass rusher, whenever. It doesn't matter, if it's that class or whatever class it is. But at the end of the day, and let me make sure I pull up the right, here we go. So we have this class here. They wanted to take an offensive lineman. They wanted to take a tackle in that position. So if we look back at it, right, so obviously the first tackle off the board in this draft class was Jonah Williams. Actually, he was a guard. Oh, I forgot. He wasn't even drafted as a tackle. He was drafted as a guard, put left tackle. No, what did he start? Hang on, hold up. Did he start at guard his rookie season? No, he started at tackle his rookie season. No, this is 2020. There's no 2019. No, he started at tackle. Okay. But he was the first offensive lineman off the board. And at the end of the day, since he wanted to target offensive linemen. So let's look at the guys, right? We have Jonah Williams. Next guy on the board was 14 at Chris Livingston. Yes, he ended up becoming a hit. But if we go down the list here, right? Center Garrett Bradley. Currently, he is with the Minnesota Vikings. Really good center. But again, they wanted to go guard or tackle. So the first tackle off the board wasn't to Andre Dillard at the 22nd overall pick, 23rd overall pick, and back-to-back picks here. We have this guy who currently is on the Philadelphia Eagles. And then we have Tyrus. Oh, let me go forward real fast. We have Tytus Howard, who is currently on the Houston Texans, who's, again, still on his team. Not a bad deal at all. Still a really solid player. So, again, at the 10th overall pick, or 11th overall pick, that was the best player on the board. And a lot of times Cincinnati will go best player available. So, at the end of the day, this draft class wasn't, insanely amazing for tackles or guards or, other than Chris Livingston, obviously, for offensive linemen in the first round. And they picked the position they needed. And that ended up becoming Jonah Williams. So, you look back and you're like, okay, well, at the end of the day, they could have taken somebody else. And yes, they could have taken Rashawn Gary. He's a really amazing linebacker for the Packers. But I'm not really, if I'm looking back, I'm not too against their pick here. I think Jonah was actually a pretty solid pick. Even now looking back, because there's no one on this list here. We're going through here, right? Obviously, they're not going to take quarterback, and obviously they couldn't take a top 10 pick, right? If Nick Bosa was on the board, they would take Nick Bosa, right? Obviously. Josh Allen on the board, they're going to take Josh Allen. TJ Hawkinson, they're going to take TJ Hawkinson. But at this pick, from 11 to 20, right? Noah Fant, star tight end, was star tight end with Denver, not as much of a star tight end now that he is with the Seattle Seahawks, but I mean, Rashawn Gary, with the upside of taking an offensive lineman to protect your quarterback, which they needed to do, I'm not really too against that. Christian Wilkins, I really do like him. He is currently still with Miami. Yeah, it was just a bad situation here. Dwayne Haskins, R.I.P., rest in peace, Dwayne Haskins. Livingston, obviously, star guard. Brian Bird, really good pass rusher. Decent center, not bad. Jeffrey Simmons, again, we always looked at him. Really decent D tackle. And then Noah Fant. So, it's no one on this list here where I'm looking at them and saying, wow, that is a Hall of Fame guy right there they missed on to get Jonah Williams. And trust me, that happens in the NFL. That happens a lot. When a team takes somebody and it's like, that's a Hall of Famer right there they missed up on, right? Cincy really didn't miss out on a Hall of Famer in this draft class here. So, to take Jonah Williams. So, I'm actually not too upset about the pick overall-wise if you look back at it, but again, you can always look back at any single draft and say, wow, you could have taken this guy. This could have taken that guy, right? And again, Ravens took Marquise Brown. N'Keal Henry, I think, N'Keal Harry. Brown is better than Harry, even though Brown has injury concerns. But Debo, second round, 4th pick. Probably one of the best receivers in the NFL right now. Could have went overtaking someone like Marquise Brown or Harry. Like, again, so you never know with these drafts how these things are going to go. A.J. Brown went middle 2nd round. Like, 2nd round receivers here was 1,000 times better than the 1st round. McCole Hardman, you can even argue he is better than Harry and probably equal to Brown. So again, it is what it is. And he is Isabella. DK Metcalf, end of 2nd round. Like, again, like I said, I can say this a billion times. Thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy this video, like, comment down below. See you guys in the next one. Peace.